Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel, and like always please subscribe because I'm desperate. So for today's video I wanted to basically shoot a video that is called 3 looks using 1 palette, and today I want to use a palette that I use all the time, and that is the Bperfect Stacey Carnival XL Pro palette. So the Bperfect Stacey palette, Carnival XL Pro palette, is basically an extension from the original Carnival palette. It's a palette that has a grand variety of shades, including a lot of mattes and a few shimmers. You also get 3 highlighters that are really stunning. 2 of them are a little bit too dark for my skin tone, but I can use them as shimmery eyeshadow, so that's fine. You have the orangey / yellow toned warm tones, you have the slightly more red pinky tones, the pinky purples, the deeper purples and mauves, then you have the greenish tones, then you have the blue and turquoise colors, then you have your warm neutrals and your cool tone neutrals. So for today I basically wanted to create 3 looks with this palette because I use it so much, and I do a lot of like looks on Instagram, but I never really show how I do them, mainly because I'm always nervous of doing them. So yeah, this is also going to be a voiceover because it's easier for me to concentrate that way when I'm doing makeup. So the first look is actually a recreation of Mesha. I'm sorry if I butcher that name. I take the Peel Away base in the shade 2 and I blend that out with a sponge. Then I take the shades Mood and Nuke together on a brush and I pack that onto my eyelid a little bit above my own crease. Then I take the shade The Hype and I pack that above the Nuke and the Mood. It's a really beautiful green and I thought it looked really nice, you know, and then it's blending again. And I took the first 2 shades again and reapplied them to deepen up the blend a little bit. I'm taking the shade Ecstasy, which is my favorite shade of the palette, yes, and I pack that above the other 2 shades to really make an impeccable blend. And then I take the shade Wasted and I apply that next to Nuke and Mood. Again, tapping motions and a lot of blending. Then I take the shade Funky with an I and I pack that on top of that Wasted shade. Again, tapping a little bit and slightly blending it out. Then I'm taking the Lit shade from this palette and I'm packing that above the purple and the pink. I'm taking the shade Keen, which is the yellow shade of the palette, and I pack that above the orange. Then I'm blending everything a little bit together and reapplying shades as you go, of course. Then it's time to cut the crease. I'm also using my Peel Away base for this, and it requires a lot of patience, obviously. You really want to take your time with this. I stamp on the base and then I cut the crease. I go very high with my cut, by the way. And I'm taking the black shade of the palette, which is called Lights Out, and I'm applying that to the outer corner of the eye. And then taking Charmed again, which is a purple shade, and applying that on top of the black. And that is it for the first look. It was very sped up, but it took a lot of time, and I hope you liked it. And then it's on to the second look. So for the second look, I'm again taking my Peel Away base and applying that to the eyelid, blending it out with a brush this time and then patting it in with a sponge. I found that a better way of working. Then I took the shade Hall, which is a deep brownish red, and I applied that into the crease a little bit above in a round shape. Then next I took the shade Shuffle and I applied that above the Hall shade, blending it out ever so slightly. Then I took the black shade in the palette again, Lights Out, and I applied that to the outer and inner portion of the halo eye, because that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna create a halo eye, and I'm really blending out this shade. Then I'm taking the shade Fortune, which is a gold shimmer, and I am applying that to the halo that we created. And I'm taking the black again and blending out the shimmer shade, just blending it out a little, you know, just a little blending. And that's it for the second look. I know this may sound easy, but yeah, it's not. It takes a lot of blending, but I really like this look. And the way that it came out in the end is very fall appropriate, autumn appropriate. Then it's the third and final look, and this is also inspired by Olivia Stone's makeup. It's a kind of pastel look with this palette. And I'm taking the shade Wido and I'm applying that to the inner part of the eye above the crease. We're going to create a cut crease, and that's kind of why I didn't drag the color down too much. Then I'm taking the shade Makeup and I'm applying that on the middle of the eye, just above the crease. And it's time for probably one of my favorite shades in the palette, Foolish, which is a beautiful, almost neon-y salmon orange. And I'm applying that to the outer part of the eye and making sure to kind of create a curved line so that it's almost like a winged shape. Then I'm taking my P. Louise base after every color is blended, and I'm really making sure that you kind of create that winged line effect. Once that is done, I take the shade Influence and I apply that to the outer corner, making sure to connect it with the shade Foolish to kind of create a, again, winged effect. It's all about them wings today. I'm applying the shade Foolish again, and I'm making sure to really apply it next to the shade Influence, so in the center of the eye. And I take the black shade in the palette again, Lights Out, and I'm using that shade to deepen up Influence and really create some depth into this look. And this took a lot of blending because black is not an easy color to blend, obviously. Then I'm taking the shade Influence and I'm also applying that to the lower lash. Lower lash is the word that I was looking for. and I'm just blending that out, and then it's time for lashes and the rest of the face. So that, guys, completes today's video. As you can see, I look a little bit different. I already took off my lipstick and my eyelash because I only have one, and my hair is a little bit weird. That's because I filmed the last look and then I realized, fuck, I don't have an outro. I was like editing and stuff. I hope you liked every single look that I made with this beautiful palette. It's definitely one of my most used palettes now. Because it has such a great variety of shades, and I feel like the formula is really special. It's quite a different formula. It's quite a different formula than other eyeshadow palettes, like for example Anastasia Beverly Hills and Sugar Pill or anything like that. It's really a formula that you have to apply on a wet base, and I know a lot of people don't really like that technique. But this palette is really made for that kind of technique. So if I have to compare it to a matte formula in other palettes, or like another brand's matte formula, I would have to compare it with the Juvia's Place formula, because that one is really similar to this one. I would like to say that the shimmers inside of this palette are not necessarily my favorites. I'm really happy that this palette is mostly mattes because the shimmers are, in my opinion, a little bit lackluster. Overall, this is probably one of my favorite palettes when it comes to editorial Instagram looks. Like when I want to do something like that, I usually grab this palette. So yeah, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know which other palette that you would like to see. I'm thinking about doing 3 looks using the Jackie Aina palette with Anastasia Beverly Hills, because that's a completely different formula, and it's also a really beautiful palette. I am literally shaking right now from the exercise. My body can't handle being upright anymore. Please don't forget to subscribe, like and comment if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!